Welcome back for another video. What are the top all-time FPL managers doing for Gameweek23? Well over 100 responses again this week, so a huge thank you to the experts for their ongoing involvement. And at the top of the experts league, it's still Jamie McDonald. Currently there's 2 managers in the top 1k and there's 5 in the top 10k in the experts league. 40 points was a red arrow for Jamie, down to 329th in the world. It was a lower scoring game week for a lot of us though, wasn't it? 41 points was the average in the top all-time managers league, and 40 was the global average. This week, 65% are planning to roll a transfer into Gameweek24, 23% are making 1 move, 11% are making 2, and 1 manager is making 3 moves. There's 4 -4 hits this week, and there's 1 -8. So with that all in mind, who are they buying, who are they selling? The top transfer in this week is actually Bruno. 20% are buying the Man United mid, despite having a fixture away at Arsenal, which is the hardest possible fixture right now. 7 and 10 points in the 2 games on his return from injury. He created 4 big chances against Man City last game week, 2 more than anyone else, and he still managed to hit DEFCON as well. For many, or the majority, it's Game Week 24, that's the week that's been earmarked to bring Bruno in, where the first game is Fulham home in a decent fixture run. Foden is therefore the most sold, 17% are getting rid despite the Wolves home fixture. I never thought I'd see the day where Foden is the most sold before Wolves home when he's not injured, and Bruno's the most bought before Arsenal away. The thing is, does Foden definitely start? So Semenyo isn't registered to play in the Champions League for City, so he'll definitely start. Doku was benched midweek as well because of a minor knock, so assuming that he's recovered from that, do you think he starts left wing? Cherky was benched last game. He started in the Champions League and he scored their only goals, so do they all fit in, plus Foden, plus presumably Bernardo Silva, who was benched as well midweek, and Pep loves him so he likely starts. And then you've got Reinders, you've got Marmish back in the mix. It's very hard to predict, and with that all in mind, despite the fixture, some of the top all-time managers are happy to simply remove that uncertainty from their teams. It's high risk, high reward. Like, we know Foden can bang a brace against anyone on his day, and it is a home fixture, but he is also in a really bad patch of form. Grealish has picked up an injury and he's going to miss around 3 months. However, Ndiaye returns from AFCON at just the right time, and he's going to play in his favoured position down the left as well. He's on pens and he's got Leeds home. He can be a frustrating pick, a streaky player, but he's only 6.2 mil and the fixtures are there. He's got Leeds home, Brighton away, Fulham away, Bournemouth home, Man United home, Newcastle away, Burnley home. Dewsbury Hall also expected back very soon for Everton, so there could be a team on the up. Game Week 24 is a big week for fixture swings though, hence a lot of the rolled transfers. I've made a quick graphic here showing where the top all-timers are looking to invest and where they're selling in Game Week 24. I think the 2 big sell-offs are expected to be Liverpool, Man City. You know, there's Zoboslai, he's lost penalties on Salah's return. He did actually score a brilliant free kick in the Champions League Wednesday night. And then obviously Ekitike, heavily sold, maybe Van Dijk. Liverpool have got Newcastle and Man City back-to-back from 24. Plus then it's Sunderland away, who are unbeaten in 11 Premier League games home. Man City have got Spurs away, Liverpool away, which is also an opportunity to pivot to Man United mids. So we could see the likes of Cherky, Foden being sold. Bruno and Mbeumo standouts from Man United potentially. Certainly Bruno. Chelsea of course have got a ridiculous run themselves from 24 for that 4-week span. Plus Villa could be worth looking at as well, Rodgers and Watkins specifically. 4% are buying Chalobah and Semenyo. Semenyo is an interesting one. He is basically nailed on to start, as I say, since he's not registered in the Champions League. And the same applies to Game Week 24, because City are going to play next week, midweek. 3% buying Thiago, and 2% buying cheap enablers Reinildo and Krupi. Reinildo, only 3.8 million now. He's got West Ham away and Burnley home. Plus he's got Fulham home in Game Week 27, so he's even usable in your starting 11 in 3 of the next 5 game weeks if you really need. Krupi's expected minutes could creep up a little bit off the back of Tavernier's injury. Bournemouth have just signed a winger Ryan for 35 million euros, though given he's a winger, probably won't impact Krupi in theory. He's playing like a second striker behind Evan Ilson. Bruno G went off injured with an ankle injury in the Champions League, and House said to follow him. He's a little bit sore and there's some swelling around his ankle. We hope it's not serious, but it's hard to say. It's a concern that he had to come off. Doesn't sound great as far as his Game Week 23 chances, but again he's another one that some are looking to sell, and Gordon in the same boat. The problem with Howe is he rarely gives a straight answer, so we probably won't get much more info, but we might do in Friday's press conferences. No chips active this week, so we'll move straight over to Captaincy. Haaland's not scored in open play for 8 games now, so are they looking elsewhere? Despite Haaland and City's drop in form, he's still the heavy favourite. 94% are going to be captaining Haaland. A few looking elsewhere. Semenyo I think is a really great choice. 2% going for him. Thiago 2% as well. 1% Wirtz and 1% Gabriel. Gabriel's been the most consistent player this season and no one's come close really. If we measure every single player's game week scores all season and then measure the percentage of times that they score 5 or more points, Gabriel is top in the league with an 80% success rate with 5 or more points. Next closest is Munoz, who's been injured a while of course, 71% of the time he hits 5 or more points. Then it's James, 60%, but he's not nailed, and then it's Timber. It's almost entirely defenders on this list. Obviously with DEFCON factored in, it has changed the game massively, and they're providing the highest floor this season defenders. Though obviously the mids and the forwards provide the higher upside, and ultimately you really want to target Hall potential with captaincy. FPL review projections have got Haaland comfortably top, 7.7 points for Gameweek 23, and then Saka 5.3, Salah 5.1, and then Thiago, Schade, Gordon and Ekitike. So that's on 87 minutes for Haaland, which might be a bit generous because they've got a really important Champions League game next week. They need to win it. But he's certainly the favourite on FPL review, and likewise the bookies' odds. Moving on to the experts team, and if you're part of the 30% of viewers that aren't subscribed, then make sure you hit the button below to get these videos in your feed every week for free, or sign up on YouTube as well if you're not already first. So the team this week is Raya, O'Reilly, Gabriel, Chow, Foden, Enzo, Saka, Wilson, Rodgers, Ekitike and Haaland, and the bench is Dubravka, Anderson, Alderete and Gue. O'Reilly a bit of a debatable one in the 11, like you could certainly make the case for starting Anderson or even Alderete to remove that rotation risk. It's the last week in the team for Foden, who I can guarantee will drop out next week for Bruno, and we'll probably see a bunch of changes next week's episode in fact. Watkins is really tempting me as an Ekitike replacement. Not sure if his ownership will ever get high enough to make the team, and it does depend on who Villa sign this window. Abraham currently looks likeliest, but Mateta's also been linked as well. Or maybe you downgrade Ekitike to like a Krupi and upgrade a midfielder to someone like Mbeumo in addition to Bruno. There's a data point that you might not have been aware of or heard of before, baseline BPS, which is basically a player's bonus point system, so BPS, their score minus major point scoring events, so you subtract BPS for goals, assists, clean sheets and bookings. And this basically reveals which players are good for the bonus point system in terms of their underlying performances, so things like passing, dribbling and tackles. So basically signal players that can get into the bonus points really easily with just the one return, even an assist. Bowen is actually top in the league in that respect for West Ham. Obviously with baseline BPS, you obviously need to weigh in the quality of the asset in the team, and he just doesn't tick that box right now. Haaland's right up there unsurprisingly, along with Thiago, and Watkins is 7th in the league for baseline BPS. So that combined with a good fixture on does make him a really interesting option to me. Plus he has shown some form recently compared to that bad start to the season. Krupi actually does measure up well as well for baseline BPS, so he's got the potential to be a real gem if he's about to start somewhat regularly. If you'd like to look at baseline BPS and other data tables that I've made, use the link below to become a Scout member and get a 50% discount. We'll move on to the final thoughts and tips. So here's what the experts wanted to say to you for Gameweek 23. Rohan says, I, like several others, might get punished for losing Foden for Bruno, but City are looking so bad, and United actually gave Arsenal a good game in Gameweek 1 too, so there's a bit of hope with Bruno, given his and United's form. FPL Blue Light isn't sure on Foden either, and says, I know it's Wolves at home versus Arsenal away, but I just can't see Foden getting any returns. He looks so off it. If Man United get any kind of goal, Bruno will be involved. No wildcard Gameweek 24, and I'd be 0.6 or 0.7 swinging price changes before the Gameweek 24 deadline, so I've gone very early. Sticky FPL says, I risk tanking team value by holding still for another week, but in a season where the premium picks are somewhat underwhelming, a lower team value doesn't feel crippling, and the big fixture swings to target are set to come in Gameweek 24 rather than this week. And lastly, the Conqueror says, I really want to sell Ekitike with the way Liverpool are playing right now, but no obvious replacement. I'm looking at Watkins, but I already have Rodgers. Thiago might be the one, but the fixtures are actually not good in my opinion. Mane is another interesting option since Wolves might have a double Gameweek 26, and I could play a 4-5-1 in most weeks in my current setup, so I'm really considering Mane. Foden to Bruno is a lock in Gameweek 24, maybe even 23 if he's confirmed out versus Wolves. Thanks for watching. Tom's going to be back with his team selection in the morning. How will the #1 all-time manager navigate these next few weeks? We'll find out soon. See you soon for the next one. Good luck in Gameweek 23.